For our last class this week, we're going to talk about all of the different properties of logarithms. Last time you were in here, you learned that a logarithm is just an exponent. So you're going to notice that all of these properties are going to look similar because they're all based on the exponent properties, which you learned in Algebra 1, and then we touched on again at the beginning of this year, so last semester in Algebra 2. All right, so the other thing I want to let you know is that all of the properties we're going to discuss, which is going to be a lot of them, you do not need to know the names. I repeat, you will never be assessed or quizzed or tested on the actual names of these properties, just how to use them to expand logarithms, to go from one log to many, and to condense them, so from many logs going down to one logarithm. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with the product property. So this one is going to use the operations addition and multiplication to combine and expand logarithms. So you can take a look at this. It gives you the word definition, numbers, and then obviously with algebra, you have just letters. All right, so let's try some of these examples. Now the first two say to express as a single logarithm, so going from 2 to 1. And as you get more comfortable with this, we'll go from many, 3, 4, 5, however many may be, just down to 1. So in this case, they're connected by addition. The key here is to look at the bases. The base of each of these is 6. So because the base is the same, just like with exponents in Algebra 1, because the base is the same, we can go ahead and combine these into one logarithm with that base of 6. And our arguments, our 4 and our 9, are going to multiply together. So this is the log base 6 of 36. All right, so that's how you're going to combine these using the product property. Now it says to simplify if possible at the end here in our instructions. So this is just like you did last class. At the end of class, you're asked to evaluate. So the same thing, simplify, evaluate here. So we needed to see the log base 6 of 36 is equal to, well, again, we want to find the exponent. So we're raising 6 to what power to give us 36? That would be the second power. All right, again, that's not as important as understanding how to use the product property. All right, let's go to the next one, letter B. Now, letter B, again, we have the same base. It does look a little interesting because our base is a fraction, but that means we can go ahead and write these as one logarithm where I combine the 27 and 1/9 using multiplication. All right, so notice that's going to be multiplying. So we need to know what is 27 times 1/9. So again, if you don't know, you have your calculator, and 27 times 1/9 is 3. So we can evaluate the log base 1/3 of 3. So that's asking, again, I'm going to write it up top here. I'll write it up top. So if I want to know what this is equal to, so question mark, if I do my swoop method, 1/3 to some power gives me 3. So 1/3 to some power gives me 3. So it's a fraction as your base. All right, so 1/3 to the first power is 1/3, 1 to the second power is 1/9. So that's actually getting smaller. So again, if I want to flip or use the reciprocal here, I need a negative. So 3 to the first power is 1, and since I want to flip it, I'm going to use a negative. So this actually is a -1. Again, I'm not as worried about that. More worried about, can you write two logarithms as one? Because now you're going to see, as we go down to letter C, that we're going to have to go the other way, to expand it. So I want you to take this one logarithm and write it as 2. All right, so I'm going to go ahead, extend the page here, and I'm going to write equal to the log base 2 plus the log base 2. So again, you have options. You need to come up with two numbers that when you multiply them, you would get 16. So whatever you want, I'm going to use 2 and 8, because 8 times 2 is 16. All right, so that one would work. You can use 1 and 16, you can use 4 and 4, you use any factors that you can think of for the expansion of this logarithm. All right, and just for fun, before we did that, could you evaluate the log base 2 of 16? So 2 to what power gives you 16, and it's 4. And then if you look at what I wrote this equal to, well, what's the log base 2 of 2? Again, those numbers are the same, so that's 1. And this log base 2 of 8, so 2 to what power gives you 8? That's 3. And if you notice, it's still a true statement. All right? So you don't have to do that step. Just wanted to show you that even if you expand logarithms, you're actually not changing anything at all. So that is the product property. So again, you do not need to know the name. That's the product property of logarithms. Okay, so now on to the next one. The next one is the quotient property. It is literally just the opposite. So now instead of using addition and multiplication linked together, we're going to use division and subtraction linked together. Again, you see up here at the top, it's similar to the exponent rule for the quotient one that you did in Algebra 1. So again, it's going to look very similar. This time, subtraction and division are related. So now I'm going to put these together. For A and B, again, same base of 5, which means it's possible. So the log base 5 of 100 divided by 4. So notice the first one, your first argument of 100, is in the numerator, and the second argument of 4 is in the denominator. We can simplify that as the log base 5 of 25, and if you want some more practice on evaluating, 5 to what power gives you 25, so that's equal to 2. Again, not as worried about that, more worried about can you write it as one logarithm. To letter B, they have the same base, so log base 7 of 49 over 7. Okay, and 49 over 7 is 7. And you learned from last class that if the base and the argument are the same, it's always going to be 1 for that logarithm. All right, so that's that there. Let's do one more. This time we're expanding, but I would like for you to expand using the quotient property. So I want you to write 2 logarithms connected by subtraction, which means that they need to divide, these numbers need to divide to give you 6. So I'm just going to go ahead and use 18 and 3, because those would divide to give me 6. Now, I cannot evaluate the log base 3 of 18 without a calculator, because 3 to the first power is 3, 3 to the second power is 9, 3 to the third power is 27, so I can't get 18 with those whole numbers. So you'll learn later on this unit about how we can use the calculator. So that one is actually finished. All right, so that's the quotient property. So I'm going to let you guys go to your boards, and you're going to use the product property and the quotient property to expand and condense logarithms. So write them as many, and it's just 1. All right, good luck.